But again, you cannot expect the conversation to be going the way that it's going, in the direction that it's going in, and not think something's up. Especially with a newspaper article, which then goes to the next thing that bothers me, and this is what bothers me. That you have now started a GoFundMe page that has raised over, at that point of the article, $100-some thousand. I'm sure it's ballooned to $2, if not $3, if not $400,000 now because of the press that she's gotten since she put the article out there on December the 13th. And so now you got all this money that you got from all these people who are supporting you for being outed by the New York Post. It's like, where is the money for the teachers that have been slaving in these schools that COVID-19 has been ravaging all year long? Where is the GoFundMe page for the hospital workers that are working tirelessly to try to save idiots who keep not wearing masks and not adhering to social distancing guidelines, trying to take their butts to Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all these other activities, only to come back and be like, I'm sick, I need you to help me? Where's the GoFundMe page for that? Where's the GoFundMe page for all these elderly people who are at greater risk of COVID-19, and there's no stimulus checks coming, there's no supplemental income coming, the people whose homes are foreclosed? Where's the money for them? Hope y'all been having a great Christmas week so far. I know it's cold, it's crap down here in South Georgia, and so, finally got to feel like Christmas for once. Y'all always talking about dreaming of white Christmas and all this other kind of mess. I ain't never seen a white Christmas in my life, and so it was good. Like the first time in about 15 years that Christmas Day was actually cold. So definitely
colder.
Like I said, I don't get to feel it ever, so I'm definitely glad that you guys are all here with us today. Give me 1 second to share this to my page, and then we'll get right on this, and it is public. I'm learning. All right, we got a jam-packed show for you on today. Before we get started, I keep forgetting to have that thing on hand. I usually have it in that corner over there. What I am working on right now. Alright, this is the puzzle that I'm working on right now. It's entitled Bluebird by Josephine Wall. Good Times Puzzles. Good to see you. Good to see you on the show on today. It's been a minute since the last time we talked to each other. Hope everything's going well with y'all. Good time. Give y'all a quick shout out real quick. That's the puzzle that I'm working on right now. If you haven't seen Good Time Puzzles yet, this is one of the puzzles that they sell right here. Yeah. And I do have a solved in 60 seconds video based on that. So if you haven't seen the video yet, you can go to my page to see this. They sell this and a Mona Lisa as well. So again, just shout out to them. I want to thank them so much for their viewership and their just shouting out to me. And so hope y'all are having a good time tonight. We got a few stories we're going to talk to y'all about today. Very excited, very troubled to be talking about them today, given the topics that they are, but we're going to get into them. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to fill out that comment box below, and we'll try to get to them as fast and as best as we can. Alright, so again, we got 4 stories we're going to talk about today, and so we're just going to jump right into it. Which one do you want to start off with first? This is going to be the one we do for last. We want to talk about OnlyFans, the church, or the dummy.
Let's do the double lap.
Oh,
let's
okay.
talk about let's get racist.
Okay. All right. So our first story today is coming out of Minnesota. Minnesota seems to can't stay out the news to save their lives. No offense to Minnesota and all my Minnesota fans that live up there. That is literally Puzzle Nation up there, Minnesota. But again, y'all are in the news once again, and it's not for good reason. After a permit approved for whites only church, small Minnesota town insists it isn't racist. When the church doors open, only white people will be allowed inside. That's the message the Asatru Folk Assembly in Murdoch, Minnesota is sending after being granted a conditional use permit to open a church there and practice its pre-Christian religion that originated in Northern Europe. Despite a council vote approving the permit this month, residents are pushing back against the decision. Opponents have collected about 50,000 signatures on an online petition to stop the all-white church from making its home in the farming town of 280 people. Quote, I think they thought they could fly under the radar in a small town like this, but we'd like to keep the pressure on them, said Peter Kennedy, a longtime Murdoch resident. Racism is not welcome here. Many locals said they support the growing population of Latinos who have moved to the area in the past decade because of job opportunities over the church. Just because the council gave them a conditional permit does not mean that the town and people in the area surrounding will not be vigilant in watching and protecting our area. Jean Lesterberg, who lives in the neighboring town of DeGraff, wrote on its city's Facebook page. The Southern Poverty Law Center describes Asatru Folk Assembly as a neo-Volkish hate group that couches, quote, their bigotry in baseless claims of bloodlines grounding the superiority of one's white identity.
That's the church.
That's the church. Yeah, that's the church. That's what they describe themselves as, the Asatru Folk Assembly. Many residents call them a white supremacist or white separatist group, but church members deny it. Quote, we're not. It's just simply not true, said Alan Turnage, a Folk Assembly board member. Quote, just because we respect our own culture, that doesn't mean we are denigrating someone else's. The group, based in Brownsville, California, says its teachings and membership are for those of strictly European bloodlines. The church was looking for a new church in the eastern North Dakota region when they came across Murdoch. It's unknown how many members they have worldwide or how many people will attend to the new church. We do not need salvation. All we need is freedom to face our destiny with courage and honor. Wow. The group wrote on its website about their beliefs. We honor the gods under the names given to them by our Germanic Norse ancestors. Their forefathers, according to the website, were, quote, angels and Saxons, Lombards and Heruli, Goths and Vikings, and as sons and daughters of these people, they are united by ties of blood and culture undimmed by centuries. Quote, we respect the way our ancestors viewed the world and approached the universe 1,000 years ago. A small contingent of church supporters in Murdoch said the community should be open-minded and respectful to all. I find it hypocritical, for lack of a better term, of my community to show much hate towards something they don't understand. I, for one, don't see a problem with it. Jesse James, who said he has lived in Murdoch for 26 years, wrote on Facebook, quote, I do not wish to follow this pagan religion. However, I feel it's important to recognize and support each other's beliefs. Murdoch Council members said they do not support the church, but were legally obligated to approve the permit, which they did in a 3-1 decision. We were highly advised by our attorney to pass this permit for legal reasons to protect the First Amendment rights, Mayor Craig Kavanaugh said. We knew that if this was going to be denied, we were going to have a legal battle on our hands that could be pretty expensive. City Attorney Don Wilcott said it came down to free speech and freedom of religion. Quote, I think there's a great deal of sentiment in the town that they don't want that group there. Quote, you can't just bar people from practicing whatever religion they want or saying anything they want as long as it doesn't incite violence. Stephanie Hoff, whose council term ends this month, cast the only dissenting vote. I know that we have the legality standpoint, and I personally felt we had a chance to fight it. I think we could have fought it had we went to court, she said, basing her argument on proving municipal harm. I felt that we had a case with the emotional and mental well-being of the city of Murdoch. The vote has drawn national attention and condemnation. It's ironic the city council didn't want to commit discrimination against the church, but the church is discriminating against blacks, said Abigail Suter, 33, of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. It's very telling of where the priority is and whose lives matter. Okay. Some of the debate centered on the Federal Religious Land Use and Institutionalized Persons Act, which protects religious institutions and churches from unduly burdens and discriminatory land use regulations. The law prevents municipalities from discriminating against the placement of churches in residential areas, said Attorney Brian Egan, a municipal law expert on Long Island, New York. It's a tightrope for municipalities to walk. One man's religion of hate is another man's religion of love. Other lawyer said the property zoning was enough to reject it. They could have said the whole area has become residential. We don't want churches in a residential area because it's incompatible with our comprehensive plan. Oh, okay. Because at that point, they are not making a decision based upon the viewpoint or content of speech. The biggest thing, the mayor said, the biggest thing people don't understand is just because we've approved this permit, all of a sudden everyone feels this town is racist, and that isn't the case, he said. Just because we voted yes doesn't mean we're racist. Would you go first?
So I have many different
questions.
No, not questions.
Oh.
Views on this. Okay, so I feel like I see both sides, or I feel like I see the many sides that go with this. Like, it's so much going on through my head right now. I'm trying to bring everything down and not forget anything. So, first point is, it's sad to me, but not, it's sad to me, but it's not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Surprising?
Yes, not surprising. Because with everything that's been going on, everything that has gone on, like, this is not surprising, even though it is a church. If you want to call that a church.
Right.
But I also see their side too, because, I mean, they're calling it a church, but there's so many different organizations out there that allow certain people and don't allow certain people. And I guess this is one of them. But then I also stand on the point where if you're going to do... I'm starting to feel it. Wow. If you're going to do something to one person, then you need to do it to all, no matter what, whether it's individual or whether it's an organization. Because I was thinking about the story where the lady refused to bake the cake for the people.
Oh, wow,
who
good point.
Were,
okay,
you know,
homosexual,
yeah, and
okay.
they got her. You know, even though I feel like it was her choice. It was her business. You know what I'm saying? But they still punished her.
They did.
But then you have this who's showing racism toward blacks. I feel like, you know, but you don't, you give them what they want. And so that's where it is kind of a little messed up for me, because you like pick and choose who you're going to punish and who you're not going to punish to make a statement or something like that.
No, that's a very good point. Like, I didn't even think about that, and that's a very good point. Like, it seems as though, it seems as though they pick and choose who they're going to give permits to and not give permits to, who they're going to allow to practice their beliefs and who they're not going to allow to practice their beliefs. To be fair, I think about the fact that you do have these municipalities who are trying to do things under the letter of the law. And so it's not like I'm not going to say they pick and chose, because this is a different city with a different set of circumstances. It's not like this is the same city where that bakery situation happened. So I don't want to throw them under the same umbrella, but the principle's still sound. They looked at the law and they said, based on the law, we have to make decisions on what we're going to do. I think in 2020 it's kind of, sad that they felt like they still have a ground to stand on when it's clear that they believe that their race is superior to others. They're not by the letter of their philosophy saying that, we hate blacks or we hate anyone who's not white or whatever the case is.
Actions
but one and two, but the language that they're using would suggest that at some point they would want to prove that they are better than any other race. And I think that because of that, it makes it difficult for me to understand why you would then go and approve their ability to have these conversations and it be sanctioned good by the city. Like, I think that's where it's sad for me. Again, I can't, speak on, the municipalities and all the rules and the laws and the practices and those sort of things. But I think, again, it's a sad day that still in 2020, we are allowing certain groups to go and do what they want to do, only then to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that, or I can't believe they did, plotted against this, or I can't believe that they said that they were going to do that. But it's like you gave them grounds to do it outside of a Facebook group. You allowed them to meet. You allowed them to continue to spew their philosophies and continue to talk about the things that they care about. And so how can you in one breath say you have every right to think what you want to think and to gather together to talk about these things while simultaneously get upset, because it's a slippery slope. And I think the idea of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, I am grateful for it. It's the only way that I'm able to do my podcast. It's how we're able to have church. It's how we're able to, be able to express ourselves and have the free exchange of ideas. Solomon's porch, the whole 9 yards. I'm grateful for it. However, there should be lines that are drawn, and when it's clear that you are spewing something that sounds like you're trying to make yourself superior than someone else, then I think you have to draw limits to that. It's not right, because at the same time they are trying to draw limits on other religions, particularly Christianity, but also other religions as well, where people are afraid that at some point they're going to stop preachers from preaching the whole Bible. Like, you can only preach certain parts of the Bible, you can't preach the whole thing.
They don't claim themselves to be Christian.
But no, and they didn't, and that's why I'm saying I'm not trying to compare apples to oranges per se, but I'm looking at it from the lens of, if you're going to, like you said, put limitations on people expressing their religions in some aspects, then you also have to do the same thing for others. And again, I think that by them having a well spelled out, this is what we believe, and it's clear that it's whites, versus the world, then you have to take that into consideration when making your decision to decide whether or not the city's going to allow them to to gather together, because that's all it takes is for them to come together. And then all of a sudden, not only are they coming together and talking about their philosophies, but now they're drawing up plans. Now they're coming up with ideas. Now they're trying to infiltrate government systems and the like. And so some of your very people who believe this stuff will be your mayors and your sheriffs and your governors and your school superintendents, and they'll then shape history in the towns and the cities and the country that they live in. And so we all have to be ever so careful that we don't put ourselves in a position where we're allowing people to have these kinds of conversations behind closed doors, only to then be like, oh, I can't believe they did that later on. Because then, right, like that's what's going to come with it. And like I said, I don't want it to become a referendum on free speech or freedom of religion or whatever, because you're going to believe what you want to believe. But I don't think the city I don't think the city should be responsible for allowing them a, quote, safe space to be able to practice what they're spewing. Because all it takes is one person to want to turn that thing upside down, and then you will have a whole city saying, well, y'all let them do it.
Exactly.
Y'all gave them the permit. Y'all allowed them to do it. So now what? Why are you mad? Because you allowed this to happen.
So why? So this is a church. Okay.
It's not a Christian church.
Yeah.
It's a church. It's a religion. It's a religion.
I guess I don't know all the ins and outs of what you are able to do, organization versus individual. So I guess organization can be totally different. But still, I guess I just don't see how you can grant someone the ability to turn away someone from this type of organization. It'd be different if this was, your house, your place, or, something that you're doing, Or maybe it kind of is, because you know how when we were doing what we were doing with the vineyard,
Mm-hmm.
It became an organization, but
it wasn't a discriminatory organization, though.
But we could still turn away who we want to turn away. Like if somebody came up, we could turn people away. And if we were turning them away from coming to church, quote unquote, we could get sued for that. Because I don't know if we would win or not. But, there is this whole, you can turn away people for whatever reason, but you got to be able to come up with an ironclad reason. And I think that's part of the problem. So why did they have to go through the process of doing this if they could already do that?
I guess their assumption is, one, they want to be legal, and two, who want to go?
You know who want to go?
Oh, Lord.
A messy black person, or a messy Latino,
yeah.
or a messy whoever ain't white would want to go in there.
Or even a messy white. Yeah.
Or a messy Caucasian,
Mm-hmm.
whoever go up in there and start trouble.
Yeah.
That's who'd want to go up in there. Somebody messy.
And and what's scary is that might actually still happen. Because you got now they got a national stage. And that's what, and I think that's the saddest part of all. It's like now it has the potential to become a powder keg. Mm-hmm. Now I'm not advocating anybody go anywhere doing anything. Please don't do that. But that's how this kind of stuff starts. Because now people are huddled up in their groups talking about, okay, what we gonna do. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, in the year 2020, where we have seen just about everything happen, anything can happen, and I'm scared that in the next 2 or 3 weeks we're probably gonna hear more about this story and do have to do a whole follow up on it, just because we know people are gonna be people. But just hope that and I think for the last part about it that I want to talk about is the fact that I just hope that the mayor, I believe him when he says, he's not racist, that they're not racist. I believe them, but I hope that this is a lesson for them, that they realize that their actions do have consequences. Mm-hmm. And no matter how you try to spin it, you, by the very fact that you approve this, is going to paint you as one, even though you may not be one. And as people, you got to be, are you willing to live with that? And it seems like they are. I don't think that they are. I don't think that he is, but I feel like they made a decision that's going to end up costing them a whole lot more, and may end up costing him his seat down the road. Because again, you can't, you got to be smarter You got to be smarter than this. Like, yeah, you were trying to go by the letter of the law, but what does it mean for your people? You know, do they not have to believe in you?
Because you actually don't know how many people agree with what they agree with. Because you know there's some, you know, there's some closet people.
No, oh no. Let's take it one step further than that. There might be some people now that feel like, oh, since they can start a group, I want to start one too. You know, and so again, it's just it's a slippery slope. And mind you, they only got 280 people in the city, so you know, you got that going for them. but still, you know, at the same time, like it's a slippery slope, and you know, I fear what the end game's gonna be. So again, y'all be careful. You know, be mindful. And man, like I said, it's a bad look. It's a really bad look, but it is what it is. Y'all have any questions or comments? Fill out that comment box below. We'll try to get to them as fast as we can. You're watching the Puzzle Podcast with the Mad Hatter and Red Owl here on Instagram and on Facebook Live. Right now, we're going to get into the story of the day for me. Paramedic speaks out after OnlyFans account is revealed by publication. Quote, let me be very clear. Lauren Kwei, the New York-based paramedic who was publicly identified by the New York Post in an article about her OnlyFans account, has started a GoFundMe account to help support her during her legal battles against the newspaper. The original article titled "NYC Medic helped make ends meet with racy OnlyFans side gig" was published on December 12th to the protest of 23-year-old Kwei. who later wrote on GoFundMe that she had begged Post reporter Dean Balsamini to not reveal her identity. Quote, let me be very clear. I did not want the New York Post to run this article, much less use my name, Kwei wrote. When Dean Balsamini first interviewed me, he did not tell me what this was about until after I disclosed most of my background. He did not include in his article that I started crying on the phone when he finally did tell me what he was inquiring about. The Twitter backlash to the Post story was swift, even with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is House of Representatives representative in New York, tweeting to condemn the outlet. Quote, leave her alone, the 31-year-old New York representative wrote. Quote, the actual scandal's headline here is, quote, medics in United States need 2 jobs to survive. As coronavirus pandemic continues to leave people struggling to afford basic needs like food and rent, many like Kwei have turned to OnlyFans, where users can charge their subscribers to unlock private content, often adult material, to supplement their main incomes. And some employers have not responded kindly upon learning their employees had accounts on the website. In February, 24-year-old Honda mechanic Kirsten Vaughn was fired from her position after some of her male co-workers discovered her OnlyFans account and began sexually harassing her at work because of it. Kwei initially believed the Post article would both get her fired and destroy her reputation, she said in an interview with Rolling Stone. I felt like I wanted to crawl in a hole, she told the outlet. Thankfully, Kwei's employer, Senior Care EMS, confirmed to the Daily Beast that she is still employed by the company and it does not intend to let her go because of her OnlyFans. In the meantime, Kwei's GoFundMe page has raised over $102,000, much more than its initial $5,000 goal, and the number continues to grow. Kwei says she intends to use the, quote, platform she's been given to fight a more fair wage for EMTs fighting on the front line of the pandemic. The New York Post gave me a voice, so here I am showing myself to the world, she wrote. I'm here to tell you that all my first responder brothers and sisters are suffering. We need your help. We have been exhausted for months. We're using months-old PPE. We're being refused hazard pay and watching our fellow healthcare workers die in front of our eyes in our ambulances. My brothers and sisters deserve change, she added. Visit this website for a mission statement to see how you can help. You got it.
So, once again, so many things going on in my brain right now. Because I didn't really know that last part of her, you know, I guess shouting out to first responders, nurses, doctors, and all that kind of stuff to get help in that platform. Okay. But the one thing I'm really confused about is how do you not know why you telling your life story? How do you not know? Okay, so
go ahead.
Hi, I'm such and such from magazine, news, whatever.
Well, New York Post.
We want to get the story on you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, you want to get the story on me? Yeah, sure. I can tell you my story. Is it true that such and such and you on the pole and you
on the pole
and have porn and all that kind of stuff? Well, I cannot see that conversation in my head going a different way. It went, a little different. But how are you, okay, why do you want me to tell you my story?
Point number one.
What is this about?
Point number one.
Where is this going to end up? Like, who's going to see it? There would be so many different questions. How old is this lady?
23.
I think 23, I'm tired. 23 was like, what, 11 years ago?
23. Yeah.
I just can't see how you're not going to ask questions about why people are wanting to know about what you do that can potentially ruin, your character, your future, your job, your everything. I feel like, I'm just going to be honest, it's just my opinion. I feel like she knew what she was doing. Well, probably not really knew what you were doing, but was like, hey, I'm just going to, put it out there and then see if this works, She probably just took a leap and was like, I feel like I am going to have people to bash me, but I also feel like I'm going to have people to support me, and I can spin this the way I need to spin it to get the, what's it called?
The attention, the money, the
to get
fame, the notoriety,
to get the sincerity, to get the sincere, I don't know, I can't think of the word right now, but to get that attention from people and
sympathy,
to get the sympathy from people to help me, please help me.
Yep.
So I feel like that was part of her game plan. And then, I also kind of feel like, maybe she did, want to get out the point out there that, that people are really in the trenches with COVID and are really going through some stuff, but I feel like that was part of it, like a secondary, I feel like she tried to spin it in her favor to show I need help and this is why. I can't look like I'm being a money grabber or being greedy. I have to counter that with something that's major to the world, not just the community, but to the world. I just don't see how you not answer or ask the questions about why people are wanting to know your business. I would.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm gonna piggyback off everything because you basically done laid the groundwork for me. You set it up real nice. So, all right. Like, first of all, what you do is your business. So I'm not here to bash anyone who uses OnlyFans. I'm not here to talk about, what they do. Listen, you want to go on OnlyFans and you want to put, pictures of yourself doing provocative things that I can't talk about because my 10-year-old is sitting right here next to us. You want to put on, what you want to put on OnlyFans, you do what you do. You feel like you have to use OnlyFans in order to get money, do what you do. You feel like you want to make a name for yourself, you do what you do. I'm not bashing you. I'm not mad at you. Go do what you feel like you need to do. I don't condone it personally, But again, people gonna be people. Be the same people who use the nasty sites, and the same, because again, my daughter in here, the same ones who, you know, look at videos, the same ones who look at pictures, the same ones who look at Playboy magazines. It's nothing new under the sun. This has been going on for thousands, if not tens of thousands of years. So this is nothing new. It's the same old song, just a different day. Yep. Different day, different media, different, you know, different means. But it's the same old thing. It's prostitution. Go do what you gotta do if you feel like that's what you need to do in order to get paid. Okay? Again, I don't condone it. I don't think it's right. I don't think you need to be doing it. Oh well. But again, if you're gonna do it, do what you gotta do. It is what it is. Now, having said that, you know, again, I'm not upset with what you decide to do, but let's be clear that if it is what you're going to do, you gotta live with the consequences that come with that. And I think what happens a lot of times is people feel like they can do this thing and be anonymous with it. They don't have to tell a soul. And again, according to her story, which I kind of did a little bit of digging, no one really knew, you know, what she was doing. Nobody knew, no one on her job knew what she was doing. And so it's not like, it's not like anybody knew what was going on. But at the same time, you know, once again, it's not like she was, it's not like, even though she didn't tell anybody, it's not like it was out there, you know, it's not like it was not out there. And so at some point, someone was going to find out. Now, where she messed up is that she volunteered her information. And that's point number one. You cannot expect a news article like the New York Post. It's not the New York Times. It's not the Washington Post. It's not the give me another big one, USA Today. It's not you know, some of these major like Time or Newsweek or even Ebony, for crying out loud, where they're actually gonna care about their journalistic you know, integrity. They trying to sell papers. They trying to sell articles, especially in the digital age we live in today. They're just trying to make their money too. And so you cannot expect a journalist to take your information and not do something with it in order to sell papers. So again, if you're gonna volunteer the information to whoever you're volunteering it to, you gotta recognize that, hey, they might do something with my information that I don't like. And now, mind you, I'm grateful that he told her what he was giving the information for. But girl, you're the dummy for volunteering the information without asking the questions. Like, I'm gonna get interviewed by a newspaper article. Yay! No, girl. Questions. Ask questions. Like, what do you want? You know, what are you trying to use this for? What's the point of your article? The whole 9 yards. And even then, they can still lie. They can say they're gonna use it for one reason, but then turn that whole thing around, because that happens in news all the time. Oh, they thought they were going there for one story, but then they found out more information. That whole story changed.
So they must have known something about what she does.
That's my estimation.
Because why would they call her in the first place?
That's my estimation.
She called him.
Right. And so that goes.
Why are you calling me? Like, there are so many. What is she? She's
an EMT. She's a hospital worker. Worked in senior care.
Are you calling multiple people who work in my field, or? You know, what is so special about me that you're calling me of all people? Why are you not calling somebody else? Yeah. But so again, young, impressionable, probably like, ooh, I'm finna, you know, whatever. So again, it could go two ways. One, she was caught off guard and it threw her off, and now she's embarrassed, scared. I might lose my job. But you weren't scared when you posted your pictures in the first place. You weren't scared when you posted your videos in the first place that somebody might find you out. You sure enough did it in order to get whatever supplemental income you needed. Again, I'm not saying that, you know, that she was banking prior to, you know, doing OnlyFans. So again, if that's what she felt like she needed to do in order to pay her rent, again, you do what you do. I don't condone it, but again, people gonna be people. But again, you cannot expect the conversation to be going the way that it's going, in the direction that it's going in, and not think something's up.
especially with a newspaper article, which then goes to the next thing that bothers me, and this is what bothers me. That you have now started a GoFundMe page that has raised over, at that point of the article, $100-some thousand. I'm sure it's ballooned to $2, if not $3, if not $400,000 now because of the press that she's gotten since she put the article out there on December the 13th. And so now you got all this money that you got from all these people who are supporting you for being outed by the New York Post. It's like, where is the money for the teachers that have been slaving in these schools that COVID-19 has been ravaging all year long? Where is the GoFundMe page for the hospital workers that are working tirelessly to try to save idiots who keep not wearing masks and not adhering to social distancing guidelines, trying to take their butts to Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all these other activities, only to come back and be like, I'm sick, I need you to help me. Where's the GoFundMe page for that? Where's the GoFundMe page for all these elderly people who are at greater risk of COVID-19, and there's no stimulus checks coming, there's no supplemental income coming, the people whose homes are foreclosed, where's the money for them? Because it seems like the only people who seem to get paid are people who are so sensational and, posting naked pictures and posting naked videos. They're the ones who seem to still be getting paid. Which leads me to believe that you got some nasty motherfuckers out there who only care about seeing people half naked and are going to support that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out the year, but don't want to give a dime to the people who need it. These are the same ones, and I say this and I mean it straight face, these are the same ones who will sit here and support prostitution, but they won't support Black Lives Matter. They're the same ones who will support prostitution, but they won't support a stimulus bill. They're the same ones who support prostitution, but then be the same ones crying out, people need to make their money the right way. So, so again, I don't know if she's genuine or not. She could be putting up a front. She could be putting on a show and just trying to get paid. But I tell you this, I wonder where look at that. I wonder where the rest of her money's gonna go. Because if she's just doing it to pay for legal fees, once you got your legal fees, boo, where the rest of your money gonna go? Are you done with OnlyFans now because you got your money? You got paid. You got paid out the wazoo now, and I'm sure your OnlyFans got millions of people that are subscribing to you now, paying that $9.99 a month to see another naked picture of a naked woman for the 9,000th time. I'm sure you're getting your money now, but again, where is this money for the people who actually need it? It's so insane to me that we'll throw money at things that do not matter. But when it comes to the things that do matter, I don't have that. I don't have a dime to give. I got that $9.99 a month though. I got that. Oh yeah, I can handle that. Oh, $5 more for an extra pick? Oh yeah, let me pay that. I got that all day. It's, again, fascinating to me that we can find the money when we want to spend it on things that don't matter and support people who at the end of the day could be just as money hungry, just as greedy, just as salacious as the next person. But again, there's nothing new under the sun. Because we'll support prostitution all day long. But again, when it comes to the things that actually matter, when it comes to supporting our troops, when it comes to supporting our EMTs, when it comes to supporting our healthcare workers, when it comes to supporting our kids and our teachers and our superintendents, we don't have anything to give them. But we got $100-some thousand, we got $200-some thousand to give a lady who is scared she gonna lose her job because she decided to post some pictures online. That was her decision. That was her choice. She did that. She decided to talk to the New York Post. No one put a gun to her head and said, hey, talk to us. She should have kept her mouth shut if she was that afraid of what they might say. But again, now we're the ones looking dumb, or at least the ones who paid her some money on a GoFundMe page. We're the ones looking dumb now because now we're saying it's okay, boo, that you had to do that. It's okay that and it's gonna be all right that you got outed. It's okay. You're gonna be all right. Here, let me give you some money to help support you now. Again. I'm not going to go to where I was going to go with this, but again, it just seems so interesting to me that we'll be more than happy to support prostitution and the fact that, you know, somebody got to work 3 jobs just to survive, but we won't support the people who's breaking their backs, risking their lives, risking their health, all because all of a sudden I ain't got $9.99 to give the teacher. I ain't got $9.99 to give the healthcare worker. I ain't got $9.99 to give the military personnel, but I got $9.99 to give this OnlyFans person who got outed by the New York Post. Seems kind of weird to me. You have any questions or comments, fill out that comment box below, babe. We'll try to get to it as fast as we can. You are, oh good. You're listening to the Puzzle Podcast with the Mad Hatter and Red Owl here on Instagram. And on Facebook. Well, I thought we were on Facebook. We ain't on Facebook no more. Okay, apparently Facebook said no. Okay, the next story is coming out of the Cayman Islands. Gotta love that. Hey, can I tell my story? Maybe you'll find out. Family of U.S. student jailed for quarantine violation pleads for her release. Family of an 18-year-old college student who broke the Cayman Islands coronavirus laws on a trip last month has pleaded guilty for her release from prison ahead of a hearing on Tuesday before a panel of judges who will decide whether her appeal can proceed. She cries. She wants to come home. The student's grandmother, Jean Mack, said on NBC's Today Show on Monday, getting 15 minutes of fame, huh? She knows she made a mistake. She owns up to that, but she's pretty hysterical right now. Skylar Mack and her boyfriend, Vanjay Ramjeet, 24, were sentenced to 4 months prison after violating the Cayman Islands' required 14-day quarantine period for visitors. In late November, with her semester at Mercer University in Georgia complete, Ms. Mack flew to the Cayman Islands to watch her boyfriend compete in the island's jet ski racing national championship. When she arrived, however, there was a problem. She got there on Friday. The championship was on Sunday, and per the country's laws, she was required to remain in her hotel room for 14 days before going anywhere else on the islands.
So she wasn't going to be able to see it no way.
Bingo! To elude the restrictions, Ms. Mack, after receiving a negative coronavirus test, slipped an electronic monitoring bracelet from her wrist and escaped to a beach on Grand Cayman's South Sound, where she saw Mr. Ramjeet win first place. Woohoo! But the event organizers were notified that Ms. Mack may have been in breach of the rules and the police were called, her lawyer said. No crap! Ms. Mack was charged with leaving her home during the quarantine period, and Mr. Ramjeet was charged with aiding and abetting her. They were sentenced to 4 months in prison for the quarantine breach. This was as flagrant a breach as could be imagined, Justice Roger Chappell said in court during the sentencing. It was born of selfishness and arrogance. Got that right. The islands, a British territory of nearly 65,000 residents, have reported 316 infections and 2 deaths as of Monday, with no reported cases of local transmission since July. Only people who have been pre-authorized to enter the Cayman Islands can travel there, and they must quarantine for 14 days in a government facility, a private facility, or at home if approved. Upon arrival to the island, visitors receive an electronic smart wristband, so smart, and are equipped with a cell phone with an app called Stay Safe Cayman. Using the app, they must log where they are quarantining. Visitors cannot end quarantines until they can show negative results from tests taken on their 15th day on the island. Ms. Mack's relatives in suburban Atlanta scrambled to pull together letters from friends and family attesting to her character in an effort to get the sentence overturned on appeal. Justice Chappell said last week in court that the gravity of the breach was such that the only appropriate sentence would have been one of immediate imprisonment. I want to read the part where it said, and I love the picture that they're using of her, this quote criminal. Black Lives Matter.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying. Let me see. Where is it at?
That's the boyfriend?
Yeah, that's the boyfriend. Yeah, that's her getting arrested. Here we go. Chappell also said that the Max that Mac's actions were entirely deliberate and planned, as evidenced by her desire to switch her wristband the day before to a looser one that she was then able... Oh, where is it? No! Oh, that was the part.
It's not over there?
No, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Here it is. As evidenced by her desire to switch her wristband the day before to a looser one that she was then able to remove. And so yeah. Yeah. What you got?
So 2 things, but maybe more than 2. Okay, so first, did you not know the rules before you got there? You know, I'm pretty sure your boyfriend did. He's been there for how long?
Right.
And so,
right.
But you know, I mean, I did that too because maybe you don't have the money to stay 14 days plus some.
Go ahead.
She just wanted to see her boyfriend. She wanted to see her boyfriend compete. I get it. I'm getting both sides. I get it. I want to be there for you if you were doing something.
Then you plan accordingly.
Maybe, like I said, maybe you didn't have the money for 14
That's not,
days.
no,
That's what they're saying. It may be something that
let us be clear. If you got the money to go to the Cayman Islands, you got the money to stay there 14 days.
How you know that?
Because you're at the Cayman Islands. The Caymans are not some cheap place. Go ahead.
We've had the money to stay on the beach. Didn't mean we had the money to stay there for 2 weekends.
Well, you should have thought about that before you decided to go to the Cayman Islands, knowing see
your boyfriend compete.
This is what kills me, because we sit up here and act as if COVID-19 is not happening.
I get that. I'm saying I get both sides.
There is no both sides.
To see her boyfriend compete.
Negatron.
Very dearly.
Negatron.
This may have been a big point.
Of course, it's a big point. It's a national championship for him. I get that. I get that. That makes sense to me. However, like this is what kills me. This is a COVID-19 world we live in now. Like, you have to know at this point that every country is... Let me give you an example. Right now, there is a new strain of COVID-19 that's ravaging the UK. So what has the UK done? They banned travel. You can't come in and you can't leave. Not until we get this thing under control. Because it's COVID-19 part 2. Japan is starting to face the same thing, so they shut down. Like, they banned all travel. You can't get in, you can't get out. It seems as though the United States is the only country that has 0 sense. Because we still want our freedom so badly, and we want to see our people so badly, and we want to celebrate accomplishments so badly that we're willing to risk life and limb. I got a friend right now, who's all like, when y'all gonna come up and see us when COVID-19 ends? Lame, please. No.
Thank you, for days.
No, don't agree. Don't agree with her. No, don't see both sides.
Well,
because, let me finish mine. No, let me finish. Because we are in a COVID-19. You gotta prepare. You have to prepare for this. Like, we live in a COVID-19 world where every country is doing everything they can to keep COVID-19 out, because it's destroyed travel, it's destroyed tourism, the whole 9 yards. So if the Cayman Islands is a tourist spot, obviously you gotta know they're gonna do some type of protocol. Plus, your boyfriend's already there. He ought to know. So why would he not have told her?
That's why they probably said it's something that she planned on doing, because he probably did know. She wanted to see her boyfriend. If that's such a big deal, and it is a big deal.
It is a big deal. That's not the point.
Then shut it down. Because what people don't realize is, and what different places don't realize, you've been doing right now.
I just want to see.
What people don't realize is even as adults, when you say don't do something, just like a child, that's going to
whatever.
Okay,
I'm gonna figure
you're
out.
not about to stop me from seeing my man playing his
whatever.
shit. People get like that. I get that. Is it right? No.
That's what I'm saying. Like again, I'm not saying I don't. I'm not saying that's not the point. That's not the point. I want to see every accomplishment. Listen, if my daughter, if we decided we were gonna let the whole basketball thing, if they got the restrictions and the plans and all that in place, listen, we're gonna do what we do in order to see the game. Even if they say parents can't be there, but we're gonna shoot it live somewhere. Cool, y'all gonna play the game. We gonna have to social distance, but we gonna watch you play your game. However they set it up. Like, if you know that this is the protocol, why would do what you need to do? The parents apparently knew that she was going to the Cayman Islands because they sitting there trying to get her out of the Cayman Islands, trying to call President Trump and everything, trying to get her out the islands, trying to get her out of jail and all that. Got her the other story said her sentence got reduced from 4 to 2 months. Like, so it's like, if you got all this in place, why not support her and give her 2 weeks plus the championship? Was that send her out there and let her go 2 weeks ahead, and so that way she can quarantine and be with her man, her parents, because they knew she was there.
How you know they got the money?
That's not the point. The point is
the point. How you gonna survive if you have no money there?
Because if you want to see your man, if you want to see your man compete,
apparently she's gonna do what she got to do.
And so that means you finna go sit in jail for 4 months. Then that's what you go do. What you gotta do.
Maybe in her brain, I'm just gonna face the consequences.
No, that's not how she thinking though. Because according to the parents, she's hysterical. Oh no,
I'm in jail.
Oh no,
it's not her.
Oh, I'm in jail. I just want to see my boyfriend. No, well, I hope that's just a story that they telling then, just like the OnlyFans person just telling a story. I hope that's a story they're telling, trying to get President Trump to appeal. Because she might be that OG. She might be that dog, but like, you know what? I saw my man. He hit the cut. Yes, right. That's right. I would go see my man. He gonna give me that ring. I made a sacrifice.
Oh, she don't have a ring already?
No, they just boyfriend and girlfriend.
Well, I probably wouldn't have did.
Oh my gosh, really? Really?
I'm sorry.
No, that's the point. That's the whole point. It's just a boyfriend. It's not a fiance.
How long they been together?
It doesn't say how long they've been together. But again, I'm not risking prison time in the Cayman Islands for crying out loud. I'm pretty sure it's probably nothing compared to Georgia or anything like that. Okay, probably real noise. Probably got a hot tub and everything. But all I'm saying is, I'm not about to risk jail. Right, my ties. I'm not about to sit here and risk jail so I can see you compete. No, I'm not doing that. We're not married. We ain't got no kids. It's not that deep. I've got plans, man. 4 months. That means she gonna have to miss half of school now.
Maybe they've talked about their future together.
They better be talking about some altars and white dresses, not getting younger.
Because
I know. I mean, listen. I get it. I get it. You want to be there. You want to support your man. It's a national championship. All that jazz. I get it. I'm with it. All that. But don't sit up here and then act. Oh no!
But we don't know if that's how she acted, though.
Oh no!
We don't know if she acted like that.
That's what the mama said. The grandma said. Oh no! I'm in jail.
You don't know that's how she acted.
Tell me, she better be a road dog. She better be having cornrows in the back of her head. She better be taking over the Cayman Islands jail right now. She the OG. I run this.
Is she the only one though?
Her boyfriend went too.
I know, but like, are they the only people who?
I don't know. No. And again, and listen to what the judge said. The judge probably would have been light on them had it been just this kind of a I love my boyfriend. But they plotted. No, give me the looser band.
For days.
Give me the looser one. No, that's too tight. I need one looser.
So they have to get a different one every day?
No, they get one, but they had already plotted and planned, so she probably already talked to an official saying, hey, let me get a looser band.
She's not let me do it.
Allie.
Let me get a looser band so that way I can slip out of this thing. Allison, do what need to be done, babe. Like, let me get out of this band so that way, you know, I can slip out later and then I can be with y'all. I'm just leave the monitor in the room. I go see you.
If the monitor
Girl, they probably did something dumb. Posted on social media, knowing these people are tracking everything you do. And they said that there's a tracker on the phone, the app. So they're tracking the phone too.
She had her phone. She didn't.
Of course she had her phone. They took pictures. That's probably how they got that picture. And again, I love how the news is painting her out to be this just darling. Oh,
I mean,
yes.
She probably is.
Of course she is.
She probably is.
Like they had been put on us, so they gonna get the thuggies. They gonna put our mugshot on the front page. It ain't gonna be that. It's gonna be the one that's looking like this. Get me sick. But anyway, nah, man. All I'm saying is, if you know that this is something that you're going to do, then you need to plan ahead of time.
If you can.
And if you can't, listen, ain't nothing, listen, I work in a prison, ain't nothing worth you spending no time in no jail cell. Nothing. Not even seeing your boyfriend win a national championship. It ain't worth it. Nah, it ain't worth it. So if you're going to do all that, you need to talk to your parents ahead of time. Be like, listen, I want to be there for my man, but they got 2-week protocols. Help me. Help me. That's the second time we did that today. A little bit. You do. You have any questions or comments? Fill out the comment box below. We'll try to get to them as fast as we can. You're watching Puzzle Podcast with Mad Hatter and Red Owl here on Instagram. And we was on Facebook, but Facebook cut out on us. Both punks. Last story for the night was a feel-good story, at least in my opinion. Two dads cookie competition. Shut up. Two dads cookie competition turns into nationwide movement to bake for essential workers. Like many Americans, Scott McKenzie was furloughed at the start of the pandemic, but told himself he'd stay positive and try new things. Quote, so I told myself I was going to do something new every week, and I never made chocolate chip cookies from scratch. That first week off from work, McKenzie baked his first ever batch of homemade chocolate chip cookies. As part of his work, posted on social media, of course. Little did he know his friend of 15 years was at home baking with his sons. Jeremy Urick said, I just made a simple post back to him. I think my cookies are going to be better than yours. Let's have a bake-off. Dads agreed to a competition judged by the town's mayor. Dark Horse entered the race. It was all over for the two dads. One of the athletes, Rachel Kyle, used grandmother's recipe and won. They may have lost the bake-off, but McKenzie and Urick put their cookies to good use. We delivered some to local police and some local fire departments, went to a local grocery store, and went up to a local hospital. It was just no more than thanking them for what they had been doing and working under difficult and trying times. And we said, that was fun, that was easy, let's do it again. So they started a Facebook group called Cookies for Caregivers. Within days, hundreds of people joined with about 40 volunteers offering to bake. Each week, they chose about 6 bakers from the list to make treats. They delivered them to the local businesses and first responders, and for 40 weeks straight, they have taken treats to Penn Hollins Huntington Hospital. Cookies for Caregivers hasn't stopped since, and it's even expanded. They started their own local chapters in other cities, and there's been some international interest. Jeremy and I, from the very beginning, hoped that this would grow from something that we do here in Huntington, Pennsylvania, to what could happen across the country. What started out as a friendly competition turned out to be something life-changing. Quote, you know, if this pandemic were to end tomorrow, why do we have to stop? Why does it take a pandemic for individuals to do something special like this? It shouldn't be that. McKenzie added, they like to say they are expanding their hug radius with Cookies for Caregivers. Right about now, who doesn't need a hug? When things get tough, expand your hug. Make it bigger. It's the whole point. I know. And then collectively, you'll get through it, I think, in a better way.
That's so sweet.
Well, we're always saying, if you can't see the good, be the good, man. I think that, you know, this pandemic has taught us in a lot of ways that there are many ways to, you know, just show that you care. I know that, you know, things are tough, things are hard out there for a lot of people, and it's not getting any easier anytime soon. But one thing I can say is that, you know, with everything bad that's going on in the world, there are some good things going on. It's good that these guys, what started out as just a thing to do, you know, turned into something so spectacular just to show that they care, just to show that we care as people. And so it doesn't have to be something super spectacular. I think we just got done saying this. People are so often looking for purpose, and, you know, I gotta be something big, and I gotta be something grand. None of these guys were thinking to themselves, I want to be a baker. You know, they just said, hey, it's a pandemic, I ain't got nothing to do, let me bake some cookies. And it turned into what it turned into. And now people, you know, are able to, you know, see weekly that they care. And like I said before with the OnlyFans story, like, you know, the healthcare workers and the ones losing their homes, they're the ones who need the GoFundMe pages with $100,000 and $200,000 sitting in the bank. They're the ones who need a subscription, $9.99 a month. They're the ones that need this stuff. And so, you know, something as simple as baking cookies for these guys, it shows them that people care. And again, it hurts my heart to know that someone can get on OnlyFans and generate so much money just to say, look at my boobies or whatever. But these guys that are doing, you know, such hard work, they're barely scraping dimes together. And so it's good to see that people see them, people care about them, and are willing to show their appreciation for them. It may not be monetary, but it's something. And I'm prayerful that it's inspiring enough for other people to get off of the sidelines and do something just to show their appreciation for what these people have done. I just got done, you know, talking to some family members of mine, and we were all talking about how bad this pandemic has been and some of the issues that we've run into, whether it be from, you know, the front lines that we work, or some of the workers that we work with, or even our own personal scares that we've experienced thinking that we might have it ourselves, and how we're just grateful that God has gotten us through this pandemic, you know, with no visible scars. You know, we may have had some mental hiccups every now and then, but God even brought us through that. And so again, I think that this story, along with everything else that we're seeing, is just a reminder that just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean that the good has to stop. If anything, we need to just ramp it up even more, and to not stop once it's all over. You know, we want so badly to get back to normal, and Lord knows I do. I miss the beach. I miss the movies. I miss going, you know, to places without a mask on. I miss restaurants. I miss hanging out. I miss my parents, man. I miss, you know, getting a hug. You know, I saw my mom for like the first time in months this week, but I couldn't hug her, you know, and I miss that. I miss being able to have that touch, you know. But again, as whatever we can do, let's do that. You know, we focus a lot on the negative. We focus a lot on the things that are wrong, but let's also focus on the things that are right, because with everything that's going wrong, there are a billion things that are going right. And if we just open our eyes up to see it, then just like these guys, you know, we'll be able to not just, you know, see the opportunities, but we'll find ways to actually be the opportunities ourselves. Because all it takes is just a little bit of kindness to go a long way toward, you know, letting somebody else know that you care, that they're seen, and that they're supported.
I think it's awesome. Like, I love that. You know, he was saying that it's, I think you read that he was saying it's sad that, you know, it's taken this for us to see, you know, that we need to come together and do something as a community, and it shouldn't have to take that. But, you know, I look at it in a different way. I was listening to a podcast today where he was saying, you know, somebody had a situation where they were going through where there was friction between her mother and herself, because her mother had done something unspeakable to her. And so, you know, now there's this place where she's at, she didn't know what to do. And so in times, in trials and tribulations that we go through, and in pandemics like this, you know, people may not see it like this, but I kind of feel like it's sometimes a blessing in disguise, because it forces us to sit back and take a mental note of where we are in life, and what can we do to help, or what can we do to better ourselves, or what can we do right now, because right now we can't go out to the beach, we can't go out and do this, we can't go out and do that. So what can we do to help someone in this situation? Like it is sad that it takes this to see that we need to come together.
Well, maybe this is exactly what it took.
Exactly. I see it as a blessing in disguise, because God, He works in ways that seem odd to us, but it makes all the sense in the world to Him, because it's not about us, And so them doing this, it shows that, yes, this world is lost, but there are still, found people in this lost world. And I love that.
Yeah. I mean, because again, at the end of the day, we're not gonna solve world hunger. we're not gonna solve poverty.
You're not gonna solve racism. You're not gonna solve ignorance. I mean, you're not gonna solve people taking advantage of other people for money. You're not gonna solve any of that. But what can you do
to be the difference? To be
the light, to show, the positive side of all this negative that's going on.
Absolutely. And the biggest part of all is that it took 40, 50 some weeks for these guys to be noticed, which shows that they weren't doing it to be noticed. And so if you're, again, check your motives. God gonna use whoever to do whatever He wants, even someone who's just looking for a spotlight. But again, whether you're doing it for a show or not, what are you doing? What are you doing? How are you using your resources? How are you using your time, your attention, your devotion, your dedication, to help someone else along the way? And again, it doesn't have to be seen. The one whose opinion matters the most is God. And so it doesn't really matter whether people know it or not. But at the end of the day, it doesn't take a whole lot to show that you care. And, these guys, they weren't worried about trying to be in a spotlight. And so they just wanted to help somebody. And not even, they weren't even trying to help somebody. They were trying to show that they care. That we see you. We understand what you're going through, and we just want to say thank you. Thank you for what you're doing. And I think that goes a long way. I was talking to one of my friends earlier, and first off, I want to thank Instagram for allowing us to talk as long as we want to. Because I had a friend of mine who was telling me before that she, was getting constant emails after they went to virtual school, and she was getting constant emails from parents talking about, you're not doing this, or you're not doing that, or how am I supposed to do this, or how am I supposed to do that? You're not helping the kids, as if it was her fault that they went to virtual. Like, it's her fault that now, parents got to actually help their kids. You guys got to sit there with your kids. Now you see what teachers are going through. Right.
And it's not just, it's not just your child.
Right.
Teachers are having to deal with 24 or 25 of the kids, and you're complaining of dealing with the one or two that you got. Mind you, I get it. You're not a teacher. Go to school for that. You're not a teacher. I get it.
Right.
And so, but I feel like it should just be in any field, it should be respect toward that field, because you don't know what these teachers have to go through, what the medical personnel has to go through. You don't know what they have to do to be safe themselves and to keep others safe.
And to teach your kids.
And to teach your kids, or to try to heal your family.
Right. Which goes to the point with that she got that one email this one day of a parent who said exactly that. I never knew what you went through as a teacher until I had to sit with my kids and get them to sit down and pay attention to a screen for 6 hours.
And mind you, it's different that way because in the classroom they're not on a screen like that.
I mean,
it's more hands-on.
But
I get that.
Yeah. But even then, like she was like, I appreciate you more so than I ever have before for what you and teachers have to go through. And she said that's all she needed. Just someone to say, thank you. I get it. And I sympathize and I appreciate you.
Now help me.
I think that's the theme of the episode today. Help me.
Help me.
And so at the end of the day, like, we're saying is that, look for those opportunities to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for being there. Thank you for, caring. Thank you for appreciating. Thank you for all that you do. Because again, how the nurses, the doctors, the teachers, the school boards, the city officials. All these people are having to work tirelessly to try to make this world as safe and as good and as well run as they can possibly make it, with some exceptions. But y'all, we ain't gotta worry about that come January 20th. Whatever. But again, at the end of the day, like, we can appreciate the people that are they're busting their behinds. They're trying to make it as safe and as well run as possible. And so again, if all we can do is just say thank you. Thank you for all that you do, all that you continue to do, and all that you put yourself in harm's way to do. I think that it goes a long way toward allowing them to give them that little extra boost to keep moving forward one day at a time. Again, I'm not knocking anybody for their hustle or whatever they feel like they got to do in order to make these ends meet. But again, just appreciate them. I think it'll go a long way toward doing that. I don't think anybody's got apparently we ain't got $100-some thousand to give a person. But we can at least tell them thank you and give them some cookies.
Some milk and
cookies. All right, that does it for our show on tonight. Thank you for those who signed on. Puzzling Crank, Puzzle Purpose, Puzzle for Days. We thank y'all for your comments and thank you for your viewership. Please feel free to share this to y'all stories. Once I get it posted up on Facebook and YouTube, you can go to those websites and catch whatever you may have missed from this show and past episodes as well. I'm going to start doing clips as well of our shows, so that way they'll be in smaller packages that are easier to consume.